Next, let's talk about determining support and resistance levels across timeframes. So drawing support and resistance lines at every price level on every time frame can be confusing and clutter your analysis. It would just be overwhelming and information overload. And doing this, we want to be try to have some sort of consistency and clarity. That way you can really utilize those different concepts of support and resistance across these different time frames to help inform you and not inhibit your trading. So generally, you want to determine the higher time frame levels. In this case, I like to use a thicker line. Maybe you want to use a thicker line and different colors. You can color code these different levels to differentiate it from lower time frames. And then maybe you could find lower time frame or intraday levels that are relevant to that higher time frame zone. Whereas price going in the middle of the day in between daily candle closes. You can also choose to keep those lower time frame levels, keep only the higher time frame levels. Maybe instead of just using levels, maybe you want to make a zone or a box to indicate a price range and so on. There's a lot of different ways to implement these different ranges and so on, different types of support and resistance. And generally, I find that taking this top-down approach where you start with the higher time frame and you work your way down to the lower time frame generally gives you less chances for error. In my own trades, if the higher time frames do not support my lower time frame trade idea, I don't enter the trade. That's just one thing that I do. Some would consider that to be a much more conservative approach. I'm just very careful with my own capital, and I really make an effort to minimize my risk that I take on, minimize my losses, and really let my potential for reward run as far as it can. So here's an example. This is our Ethereum example, Ethereum to the US dollar. This is on Coinbase, the daily chart. And previously, as before, let's start to differentiate some different levels on different types of charts. So let's say we go to our weekly chart. Let's do a weekly chart level first. So noticeable level, it looks like this could be a noticeable level. We also want to make sure it's relevant to where we are. So if we were to possibly place a line there, and what we could do is we could click on that line, and where it says the 1px, this is the thickness of the line. We could put that as 4 to represent that, hey, this is a thick level. This is a substantial level. This is our weekly level. So this is a significant level for Ethereum. Ethereum came up to this high and bounced off of here, managed to close above the line. Still, even though it was a red candle, here it acted as resistance. Significant candle close here. Even more resistance. Another candle open, wick above, but did not close above it. More resistance, and generally resistance here as well. And we can even consider this wick as well. So this is a significant level as to where price could go to. Now, in regards to where price is coming from, if we wanted to focus mainly on wicks, we could say maybe this is a significant price level, and it coincides with the daily as well. We do see several wicks down to here, another wick down to here as well, 1, 2, 3 wicks to this level as well. So this is a considerable level, this 2820 level. Once again, these are not fixed numbers or fixed ranges, they're flexible. Let's go to the daily. If we go to the daily structure, it looks like this pretty much lines up with our previous example, and we see where price could go. Now let's say we zoom in a little bit more and we go down to the 4 hour. So if we're on the 4 hour chart, we're looking for noticeable levels of support or resistance that are relevant to where price is right now. And it looks like right now, price is actually pretty much smack dab in between two higher time frame levels. This is found not only on the weekly but also on the daily as well, between this 38.78 and this 28.20. So it does look like generally there is a level of support found here. So what we could do is we could drop another line, let's say right there. And instead of having this the same color and having it the same thickness, what we could do is we can click on that line. Let's clear that. And we could maybe make it a 2px, so that way it's thinner. And we can also color code it. Maybe instead of the same color blue, maybe we put it as orange. And now we can start to see, well, here this on the 4 hour, this acted as support. It also acted as a level of resistance found here, where it was wedged between this 4 hour level of support, or the 4 hour level of resistance, and this weekly level of support. There was significant level of support found here back in August. And yeah, I mean, there was some more price fluctuation found here. This is a meaningful drop to this 4 hour level of support as well, particularly on September 7th. This was the day the Evergrande crisis news was released and affected global financial markets. And so, yeah, we can have that as our 4 hour structure. Now, let's say we go to maybe the 5 minute. Let's see if we could find something on the 5 minute. Significant level, price level. All right, so we are currently here at 31.19. We have our support. We know that if price comes to around here, this could act as support. Now, where could price go? Price could potentially stop off here. We see a peak here. We see another high here, another swing high here, and another one right there as well. So we could theoretically drop a line right there. And what we could do is we could color code this. First, we can make it smaller, 1px, so it's a really thin line, indicate that it's a lower time frame. And if anything, we can make that yellow. So that way we see that, well, price is actually at a 5 minute level of resistance. So this is something to keep in mind. Maybe not the best time too long. Now, is it a good time too short? I mean, that is really dependent on a number of factors. We don't want to just use support and resistance as trade entry validation, but it's certainly a great implementation. It's a great way to start. I wouldn't rely just on this, but I would definitely confer and use this on every single analysis and every single trade. But if we go back to our daily structure, now we're starting to see a clearer picture of what's going on. Now, this daily candle, this is a noticeably, it's not an extremely large green candle, but it's a notable green candle. It's a thick green candle. Price came from this low of 29.11. It's currently at 31.19. Now, this daily structure is most likely going to break down this 5 minute resistance level, because it's a lower time frame, especially the 5 minute in comparison to the daily. But going beyond that, where could price go? Looks like price could maybe come back up to these highs, right? This high of 32.84, maybe up to here. This would be a notable close. So maybe if we go to our 4 hour, well, it looks like the 4 hour levels do line up. How about we draw another line there? And we could put we could put a 2px, and we can make that orange. So now we start to have a system. We're seeing already on the 4 hour, there was a level of rejection at this 5-minute resistance level, which is interesting. We're already starting to see a red candle form as soon as it touched this, which is really something. It's really proves my point, in that now we can start to map where price could go. Now, I wouldn't necessarily map every single level on the chart. I would stick to what's relevant. Think of where is price right now, where could it go, where is price now, where did it come from, where could it go. So we're thinking, all right, well, price is here. It came from this level, and we have all of these mapped out, right? Price could either continue going up, or it could come back down to the support. Since we already have these support levels mapped up, we decided, all right, let's map out some potential targets, resistance areas that could be affected on a variety of time frames. We looked at the weekly, we looked at the daily, we looked at the 4-hour, and we looked at the 5-minute. So now we have a variety of time frames and a variety of support and resistance structures to help inform our analysis.